Brand new field, same old WPSL soccer. We usher in the 2025 season with the St. Croix Legacy and Joy AC out of St. Louis Park. It's the season opener for both clubs, and St. Croix Legacy hopes to build on their fourth place finish in the conference last year. And with that, it's time to welcome you to St. Croix Prep Field. I'm Mike Beaton. He's Pete Winslow. Pete, you and I had a chance to cover St. Croix Legacy last season. Stillwater going through some renovations. That is why St. Croix Prep is serving as the host site for both Legends and Legacy. But no matter where you play, how important is chemistry going to be for this Legacy team? They finished fourth last year. They haven't been around that long. Marcos Rodriguez feels like this team could make some strides this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen it before. I mean, if you look at the roster, there's a lot of the same places where these athletes are from, which means they have familiarity. They've played with each other, whether it's in high school or in traveling or what have you. So, that does play a big role. And, again, there's always those first game jitters that both teams are going to have today. But we'll see that. I would imagine that'll get overcome pretty quickly with how, familiar these teams are. We look at this roster, and, again, a lot of Stillwater here. A lot of Minneapolis, so again, it won't be surprising that these girls know each other pretty well.
And they include a couple of names you might recognize if you followed Stillwater High School coverage from yesteryear. Women like Marissa Bonilla and CJ Fredkove, who were part of some talented Stillwater clubs. But this is a pre-professional league. All the athletes here have college experience, and some get plucked from the high school ranks to get a chance to mix it up with some of the young adults out there. So talent isn't going to be the issue. I think chemistry will be, like you said. How quickly these two teams get settled in could influence what happens in today's game.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, we're here at this field. It's a great field. It's a great press box. We've got a great setup here. Like you said, even though Stillwater's getting renovated, we're happy to be here for these Legacy and Legend games. And so I'm just ready for some good soccer.
This is our first visit to St. Croix Prep, a venue that is getting plenty of investment. And for Joy AC, not a whole lot we can say about them because it's a season opener, no stats, anything like that. But they come from St. Louis Park, but like all these clubs, they have branches that go all the way to the youth level. You'll see these teams frequently in events like USA Cup. So these women have played a whole lot of soccer. What should we expect out of Joy AC? Again, we don't know much about them, but any chance you get to start the season with a good performance, maybe a win, can go a long way.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be that feeling out process in, the first 5 to 10 minutes of a game. And, as far as, going back to the Legacy side just for a second, they've always had good speed, I feel like. And so if you know that, and again, Joy AC has played them, in the last few years, so they kind of know what that system will look like. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if there's that feeling out process. But for Joy, they've got some countermeasures, I would imagine, especially with some new players on the roster.
They're going through the lineup introductions as we speak. Joy AC will wear the navy blue kits. St. Croix Legacy will wear the white. And we've talked a lot about experience, Pete, and what to expect, all the talent, the acumen, but the weather's going to be another factor today. We have light winds, relatively speaking, but temperature in the mid-50s. By the end of tonight's game, it will drop to about 50 degrees. That's a little cool for this time of the year. These athletes are no strangers to playing in cooler weather. Most played high school ball in the fall when it can get quite chilly, but when you come in on a cold day like this, cold evening, how does that affect your training, your preparation?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about feeling your body, right, and the muscles and working those out to stay warm. And, obviously there's a little bit of wind, so the ball travels differently. And, it might be a new field, and so field conditions also can change how the game looks. But like you said, it's interesting because it does feel like a nice fall day today here in supposedly what we call summer in Minnesota as we get ready for kickoff. So, yeah, a chilly one here tonight. But, again, I can't imagine a better way to start this season.
So no national anthem. We're jumping right into it. And as you may recall, we play with regulation time, except our clock is a little off. So I'm going to pull out my stopwatch and we will use that for the time being. We're a resourceful group. There we go. Well, the clock is counting down. We'll get this situated. In WPSL, they do play with regulation rules, so the clock should be counting up. We should be able to keep track of things, though, as St. Croix Legacy gets the early attacking chance. That was number 15, Grace Schwa, out of Stillwater. She attends Bemidji State.
Yeah, Joy really connecting some good passes here throughout the midfield. And to get around the Legacy defense, they've looked like they can control the ball pretty well here. Not many missed touches early on.
And we'll fill you in on names and numbers as we make our way through.
That pass just going behind her teammate there. And again, that's what Joy hasn't done so far. Just not on the same page for the Legacy early on. But again, it's the first couple minutes of the new season, so that's to be expected.
Legacy trying to reset defensively, and the pass goes out of play. We'll have another throw-in for Joy AC's Annie Clemens.
That pass just missing number 14, Brooke Nelson, a familiar name if you followed Stillwater sports in hockey and soccer.
Brooke Nelson, now a Coyote at South Dakota.
Oh, good ball there for her up the right sideline here. She's got a lot of space.
Nelson gathers. Clemens on top of her, and a good poke. Deflection by Clemens to keep Nelson from getting a look, but still, I had a feeling this might happen when you get a lot of Stillwater alumni. St. Croix Legacy keeping it in play. St. Croix Legacy based in Stillwater, Joy AC based in St. Louis Park. But this is what happens when you cover these leagues after spending the whole year doing high school ball. We have a foul. That was Ashley Bennett, who bumped into Marissa Bonilla. And a free kick coming up for St. Croix Legacy.
Free kick taken there by Grace Schwa.
Ball got into traffic. Bonilla trying to pounce on it. Passes it to the deep left side. Joy AC looking to flip the field. But St. Croix Legacy's midfielders intervene. That's Bella Meyer, number 10. She got a touch. That shot deflected. I believe Olivia Hallinan got in there.
That was really the first time the Legacy was able to break out of their own zone and work it down the field. This pass to Nelson up the sideline was a nice breakout play. I got to imagine they're going to want to use their wings a lot. Like I said, Legacy is known to have really speedy wings, so we'll see if that comes into play here during this match.
You have to think it would, especially if a counter or breakaway becomes apparent. As Legacy resets. Joy AC looking to flip the field. Dare Creighton got the first touch. That is number 12. We'll see if we can get her name on the roster. With this being the season opener, we're working on getting everything into place. It technically is week 2 of the WPSL season. But a lot of teams getting the start today and this week. And this will be the home venue for all Legacy and Legends games for 2025. Clemens boots it back. And Joy AC will reset with a goal kick.
Mike, I've been pretty impressed with Joy AC's back line. They seem to calm things down, and they can work the ball around from corner to corner. The back line really has shown good chemistry so far, and you absolutely need that if you want to make a deep run.
There's the cross. Legacy got in there. And that deflection pays off. We'll have a goal kick for Legacy, but Joy AC getting their first attack. Joy AC getting the first attack, and Legacy able to intervene on that cross. So we'll have a goal kick. It's Kate Prates, the St. Catherine Wildcat out of Bolingbrook, Illinois. She is the keeper.
Mike's to no one's surprise. A lot of 50-50 balls in the midfield here. Some of these passes and formation ideas that they have, just not connecting on. They might get the first pass, but that second pass has just gone awry a little bit. Again, that's just the early season. So the ideas are there, and that's what is maybe most important, because as we move forward, in this season, those types of things will start to work, and that's when teams are going to get real good at moving throughout this midfield section that seems to be a bit of a challenge for both sides so far.
And something worth reminding to all the viewers, this is a pre-professional league, but it's not unlike your AAU club basketball or JO club volleyball, lacrosse, soccer. They all have club sports, so you have all these athletes who have played for their college teams, and this is a way for them to stay in shape during the layoff between the NCAA season. But you can bring all the skills as an individual, Pete, but as we see every year, you have several different colleges represented. A lot of the St. Croix Legacy players grew up in the St. Croix program, so there is that level of familiarity, but in some cases, I have to imagine you're learning some new systems or new play styles coming from your college teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big thing when, players grow up playing traveling or, different club things like this, is you are going to have your set of skills and your niche position you want to do and know that you can be your best at, but that's not always the thing that you're going to have to do when you step into teams like this, especially if you want to start. You have to be versatile, and I think, in levels like this, you see players really take that next step, compared to when they were in high school, right? They were the striker in high school. Well, you might not be the best striker here, so you got to figure out something else to do, and that's what I feel like. Good shot there, curling away.
Speaking of strikers, that was Bella Meyer. Is that something you've had to adapt to with your power soccer background? I know there isn't a club level or pre-pro, things like that, but I'm guessing over the years you've played in the sport, you've had some teammates come and go, and you've had to learn some new intricacies, so to speak.
Yeah, especially with Team USA, everybody steps in, and everybody's their top player on their club team, right? Oh, good break here.
Joy AC. Here's a rebound opportunity. Joy AC pounces with the trailer. Ashley Bennett on the initial attack. Brown with the follow-through. It's 1-0.
And that was a great save there by Prates on the first one. And she made a good attempt on that second one, but that ball came out right to the goal scorer, and there was not a whole lot she could do here as we check out this replay here.
Well, you did have a chance to see it live, at least. And Pete, I say this a lot. You've covered soccer. I've covered soccer. Sometimes the best scoring opportunities are on those rebounds. Joy AC got that perfect counter look, and when you put yourself out there like Prates did to get the save, there's not much you can do when there's a trailer right behind the initial striker.
Yeah, and some of that can be some ball luck as well, just right place, right time for her. But like I said, it's that First shot was deadly, made a great save, and it popped right out to the goal scorer, and she cashed in as Joy AC leads 1-0 here early on.
Officially, the goal comes in the 10th minute of play.
So now, Mike, it'll be interesting to see how the Legacy responds here, going down 1-0 early on in this first game of the season for them. It's that 5 minutes after you get scored on is what's really key to see what a team will do and, how they respond.
And that was a notable goal, not just because Joy AC is up front now, but it seemed like St. Croix Legacy was building their way toward a solid sustained attack, and then Joy AC, boom, here comes the counterpunch, and they find themselves leading in the season opener.
Well, yeah, it was a nice breakaway for them, that broke down the back line for the Legacy, and that's what led to that wide open first shot that Prates had to make that great save on. And then the follow-up was right there for Joy.
You certainly can't pin that one on Prates. Got the save. Joy AC just happened to get the jump offensively. And now Legacy trying to pounce on an outlet from the keeper. And they'll get a throw in.
And, Mike, I talked about that back line being so good. They've been going back to the goalkeeper. And that last pass that she just had, a little bit of a dangerous one, gave the Legacy time to pounce on that, like you said. And
look at this.
Oh, good shot there by number 10 for the Legacy. That's Bella Meyer.
That was a solid give-and-go play. The shot was just wide right, but that all started, Pete, like you said, with an errant pass out of the keeper's box. And whether it's lacrosse or soccer, we stress this a lot, and for good reason. You got to make sure your passes are on points, especially with an opportunistic team like Legacy. Legacy, they do look like the more composed team in terms of possession time so far, but Joy AC has the lead on that counter. Trying to run another one.
And, to your point, Mike, I mean, it looks like possession has kind of stayed with the Legacy more or less here in this game, but Joy AC, all it takes is one chance, right? All it takes is for them to flip the field, and that's what they did, and they cashed in. And so, I always say possession doesn't always mean what you think it does when you see it on the scoreboard or just, you see those possession percentages.
It's not everything, and I've covered plenty of soccer in my time at the high school level, pre-pro, and USA Cup. Joy AC looking to pounce again. That was Bennett trying to hook up with Brown, and Brown able to get a dribbler over to Prates.
And again, that started because the Legacy defender chipped it up the middle, just not enough pace on it, and so it kind of left it right on the right on a platter for the Joy player to take that one.
Joy AC boots it. That's Sydney Potter, who's the keeper, but she boots it behind the end line. We'll get our first corner. And setting up this set piece, CJ Fredkove. This is another one of those watch and wait scenarios, Pete. These corner kicks, the set pieces. Header. Oh, off the bar. It went out of play, but that was a nearly perfectly placed ball, Pete.
Yeah, not much better than that as far as chances go. I mean, you had to see Potter have to punch that off the crossbar just so that she could keep that out. And the striker, I didn't see who went up for it for the Legacy, but she got it cleanly with not much, you know, defense pressuring her. So that was a really good first set play for the Legacy, and that's something they can maybe build off of here if they want to try to get some more corners.
I do think the header went over the crossbar, but keepers are not going to leave anything to chance, whether it goes out or not.
And, you know, just with the setup we have here, I mean, the football crossbar is right there as well, so there's not actually a lot of room over the soccer goal crossbar, so sometimes it's a little deceiving for us here as the sideline broadcasters looking to see how much space there actually was.
And that's not an uncommon scenario at this level, or even at smaller colleges where they play soccer and football on the same field. It's no different at our usual stomping grounds, Pony Stadium. And if you just joined us, again, we're at St. Croix Prep for the 2025 Legends and Legacy seasons because Pony Stadium getting some renovations that will take place over the summer months to be ready in time for soccer and football for the next school year.
You know, Mike, in the last, I don't know, let's say 5 to 8 minutes, including that corner kick, it seems like Legacy has really turned on the pressure. Every ball they're jumping, especially when they're having to play defense. Every pass that Joy AC is trying to connect with, a Legacy girl is putting pressure right on the person that's trying to receive the pass. And sometimes you gamble and that can burn you, but it's really worked out as far as putting the pressure on Joy AC to, be as clean as possible with their passing.
So far, Joy AC, just a couple of attacking chances, and they came on counters. One was successful in the 10th minute. That's why Joy AC has the 1-0 lead. On the goal by Jillian Brown, knocking in the rebound, following Ashley Bennett's initial attack. But you're right, Pete. St. Croix Legacy dialing up the pressure, getting those touches. I know you said earlier possession time isn't everything, but sometimes you can wear an opponent down by attrition because you're constantly on the attack.
Right, and it puts the pressure on them that they have to be perfect. It's changing, or it's trying to change their mindset as well, where they can't put the ball in as dangerous areas because they don't want to flip the field or give up a real easy turnover.
And 90 minutes is a long time. So if you give up a goal early, you're not going to be too nervous. Here comes another lead pass to Bennett. Flag stays down. Bennett fires, goes over the mark, but not a bad look there for Bennett. And Joy AC, I think, recognizing their opportunities might come on these counters, so don't hesitate to fire away.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably we've seen it 2 or 3 times now where they're trying to get Bennett free on that sideline. She's got the speed to beat the back line, and a nice through ball there, and like we've seen so far earlier in this game, has sprung her to really set up some nice looks for Joy AC. And Mike, going back to the whole possession talk, I mean, sometimes that is a team's game plan, right? Is we don't care if you have the most possession, we're going to counterpunch you. And a lot of teams, especially if they know they've got speed like they do with Ashley Bennett on the sides.
Had another look there. That was Quam. Shot was deflected.
I was just going to say, then they can use that to their advantage of that whole counterattack strategy, which looks like Joy AC really likes to take advantage of anyway.
Quam will get set up for this corner. And she got open on the backside of that last attacking chance. Here comes the first set piece for Joy AC. Quam couldn't spot anybody there. Went right into a sea of white. But the ball squirts right back to her. Quam with a dribbler pass. Shot from deep, wide left.
Ooh.
That was Dare Creighton. But Joy AC getting a couple of shots in after St. Croix Legacy was trying to overwhelm them.
And, Mike, even though that one from Creighton curled left and it was, Prates didn't have to make a save on it, you just never know, right? You might as well take the shot. I always say, pepper the net, make them have to make the save, or at least put the pressure on them. Because I feel like some teams can only look for the perfect shot, and as much as, any team would like to get that perfect opportunity every single time, it's just not always there.
We'll have a free kick coming up for Joy AC after a foul was issued. And I go back to something Marissa Bonilla told me when I did a lot of high school coverage for Valley Access channels. I'll finish that in a minute. This is Annabelle Abruzzo. If she puts us in the right spot, she could score directly from here, but she's going to curve it left. Well, that's still a lot better than any attempt I would make. But it happens. Like you said, you may not get the perfect look, and sometimes when you do, physics has a way of playing its own hand.
Yeah, I mean, that's a heck of a curl of a shot there for the free kick taker. I mean, as a set piece person, I know that it can take you a couple of times to get in the rhythm for sure.
But Joy AC gets right back to it. Jillian Brown getting the takeaway. Deflection to the backside. Brown taps it, and Prates dives on it. So Joy AC, that set piece from a moment ago, the free kick didn't pan out, but they were able to pounce, get that takeaway, and it looks like Joy AC is flipping momentum back on their side.
Yeah, they're putting the ball in the box and making the defense have to try to make plays. And if they can't, they'll take those missed touches like that last one there that tested Prates.
And Joy AC now has to play defense, and they'll concede the throw-in. But I go back to something before that flurry of activity. Marissa Bonilla told me years ago, when you see a look, you go for it and hope the ball bounces your way. Sometimes it may not, but we'll have some subs for Joy AC. In your sport, Pete, power soccer, I'm guessing you don't have to worry about arcing or curving the ball as frequently from what I've seen. But in your case, I've seen you execute a few spin moves, and so when you talk about maybe needing a couple of reps to get that trajectory down, you've been there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it's all about repetition, right? It's muscle memory. And especially when you come into a game like this, and again, like you said, it's windy, it's cold. You just need a couple minutes, I would imagine, as that one gets curled in.
That was a corner, and it goes over the net. Again, we're on the sideline, so sometimes what looks like a throw-in is a corner and vice versa. But second corner for St. Croix Legacy, and they've had a couple of solid balls off these corners, Pete. If Legacy is able to get a few more over the course of this game, that might be their way to at least get even with Joy AC. And now they jump on the pass. That's Bonilla. Looking to guide it forward. And Joy AC will take over. This is Sophia King who will throw it in. We did see Joy AC make a few substitutions. A reminder, at this level, substitutions are more lax than the international or professional stage. You get more than 3.
Mike, I always find exciting, the beginning of a season with maybe some new faces or new formations or new tactics, is what kind of team do you want to be during the season, right? You have to look at a lot of things, whether it's coaching style, playing style, skill set, all that. But just trying to figure that out, I find so exciting as an athlete and as a person that watches sports is, do you want to be a set-piece team? Do you want to be a team that counterpunches? Do you want to be a really effective, speedy team, or, pride yourself on really good defense, get one and then lock it down? So it'll be interesting to see what the Legacy and all these other teams, figure out their identity, because obviously you got to have more than one way to win a game, but you can certainly figure out what your strength is and specialize that and kind of play towards that as the season goes on.
Under the 20-minute mark at Prep Field. I believe our first visit of any kind to St. Croix Prep. So an historic moment for Legacy, ourselves, and Valley Access channels. But it's a school that has built themselves up, and it's always nice to have a backup facility if this has to be one, to get a venue like St. Croix Prep to play your games while Pony Stadium gets their renovations in. Both teams seemingly contained to the middle part of the field for the moment. This is what I call, Pete, the moment to exhale before things ramp up again, because with this sport, I use this phrase to describe it: you never know when a moment could be the moment.
Oh, no, absolutely. And like you said, this middle section of the field is, I find, the hardest, because it's like you don't have a lot of good plays to get. You got a lot of great scoring plays. You got a lot of great defensive, tactics that you use when you're on your side of the field to play defense. But sometimes there's not a lot you could do in the middle, whether that's, trying to generate space or runners up the sideline. It can just be a very challenging spot for teams.
You had number 12, Kylie Albert, running side by side with the Joy AC defender. Joy able to win that scrum, netting themselves a goal kick.
Yeah, that's good defense there. Kind of just ran Albert out of bounds and didn't get in the way of the deflection to give up a corner kick either. Smart defensive move there.
Albert trying to pounce. Dari Creighton able to evade the incoming opponent. Legacy looking to gather again.
It's a good idea there for number 4, Emily Olson. She just took a tough touch there, a little bit too much off that first touch for her.
Olson out of Hudson, Wisconsin, and that ball just straddled the touch line.
So I thought that was maybe a foul.
It was, okay, you're right, it was a foul.
I think that was number 13, Brooke Nast, had just wrapped her arms around her a little bit too much.
Potter plays the hop on the free kick by Savannah Stockness, the MSU Maverick. Oh, good eye, Pete. It was a foul. I was so caught up on where the ball was. Sometimes you lose track of the official. But St. Croix Legacy controlling possession again. Overall, this has been their half, but that counter in the 10th minute by Joy AC, the difference in our score. And now they are on the move again. That's Brooke Nast trying to find one of her comrades along the front line. Prate sends it into the midfield. Tatum Treadle. Fred Cove fires. That was close. Just wide, but Legacy again able to make Potter work for it. Pete, I don't think it would be long until Legacy can rip one through if they can keep this up.
Yeah, no, I mean, Potter felt like she had to make a save on that one, even though she got rewarded for a goal kick. And from that distance, I mean, sometimes people look at that as a just throwing up a hopeful shot, but I mean, you just never know, especially with, again, the wind hasn't been quite as windy so far, but you just never know what's going to happen when you can take a decently placed shot like that. I mean, that was more than decent, but I like the idea.
And there's another example. Joy AC was able to win the foot race, but they'll turn it over again. You did see Kylie Albert racing in there, almost won that, and that would have given her a chance for a point-blank attack. It looks like Legacy has settled in. Can they find their way to at least drawing even? That is the question. As we are over 30 minutes through the first half.
Good job to keep that ball in there.
Stella Nielsen out of New Richmond, Wisconsin. Sutherland now gives it a try. Potter had to deflect it. Another strong shot, Pete, and this will award Legacy a corner.
Yeah, and that was a great curling low shot there. And it was great to see Sutherland break away and just create some space for herself as she wanted to pull the trigger. And we've seen that with the last few shots as the defense for Joy AC has given up a little bit of space with the ball carriers, and that's given the green light to take some shots here.
Fred Cove was looking for the back post, it looked like, and the ball just got away there on what was the third corner for Legacy. Fred Cove. Olivia Hallinan getting in there for the deflection, but another example, Pete, of Legacy jumping on those passes, getting control back. We have spent a lot of time on this end of the field as Sydney Sutherland tried the centering pass. Another deflection and another takeaway.
Again, Mike, that can be a lot of luck as well, but it just seems like every 50-50 deflection is going right to a Legacy player, which has helped them sustain that offense.
And that speed you were talking about seems to be working in Legacy's favor. They're able to jump on those passing routes, even the short ones, to get those deflections where a Legacy player is awaiting the ball to come their way. Get another example. Through ball gets there to Treadle, and we're even.
Tatum Treadle, great job there. As you saw it, Mike, that ball was trying to get through the midfield zone for Joy AC, and then a deflection here, deflection there, went right to a jumping up midfielder for the Legacy, and then it sprung the goal scorer Treader on the left sideline. And Treadle does a great job equalizing this one.
And you could sense the build-up, the lead-up to it, Pete. We were just highlighting Legacy's ability to get on those routes and force those turnovers, takeaways. Here comes Joy AC. Their through ball. Won't get there. Good challenge.
Great defense there by Marissa Bonilla, knowing that they had a wing that was in stride with her, and if she, loses any bit of momentum or loses a little bit of a step, that wing had her. And so great job there by Bonilla to just take that one, kick it out of bounds without giving up a foul as well.
All she gave up was a throw-in on the challenge. But Joy AC hoping to make this an extended visit.
Mike, just like I said with the Legacy, it's this first couple minutes after giving up a lead that they'd played with for most of this first half. How is Joy AC going to respond, knowing that they're getting pressured pretty much on every possession, every ball that goes to one of their teammates? They don't have a lot of time to think about where they want to go here. As there's a nice breakout. Oh, and just missing that connection there.
Legacy will try again. A couple of through ball attempts. That doesn't work out.
Yeah, that last one there was on the wrong side for number 12 for the Legacy. That was Albert looking for it. Maybe up the middle. It ended up going to her left, and there was a defender there.
Tatum Treadle, who we believe scored, they have 1-0 on the scoreboard, and I don't know if you saw anything, Pete. I didn't. It was tough from our vantage point, but I didn't see any offside call.
Yeah, no, I thought they came back and restarted at the middle again, but we could be wrong. We've been known to be wrong a couple times, Mike.
More than once in my career, but we'll confirm everything. We believe it's 1-1. I didn't see anything to suggest an offside call, but we'll double check. They've got 1-0 on the board. Joy AC, they get the through ball in. Prates knocks it away. Ball rolls across the goal. Legacy on top of it. It looked like there were a couple of chances there, Pete. Joy AC tried to squeeze it through Legacy, and it is 1-1. The score is confirmed. But Joy AC nearly made it 2-1.
That was unbelievable on both sides, Mike. I mean, Joy AC connecting on that far right side with that pass. I mean, that was perfect. And then her shot came in. Prates was up to the task, had some help on the defense, but there also was some Joy AC offense right there as well, so it wasn't a gimme. But, I mean, again, great action for both teams.
That could be a game-saving play, depending on how this one plays out. Treadle, by the way, who scored for St. Croix Legacy, scored her first career goal last season at St. Thomas, finished with 3 goals and 1 assist, and had 6 starts in 16 caps. We have a free kick coming up for Dare Creighton after the Legacy foul, as we are nearing the end of the first half.
Sorry. No, I was in before. I'm 10, 20, 12.
Into traffic and booted away. Throw in for Legacy.
Looks like Ashley Bennett will check back in. She's one of the speedsters here for Joy AC.
And Gutierrez, number 9, looks like will enter as well.
Oh, that one gets taken.
A tackle on the right side. Now they center up. It's 2-1, Joy AC.
And that's what I'm talking about, Mike. One miscue in the back line, and that's all it took for Joy AC to capitalize. They've been very opportunistic jumping the lanes, and that has led to a few goals and, you know, a couple more chances as they pull ahead 2-1 here. Because like I said, I mean, you make an errant pass going east to west, and then all of a sudden you have a person that takes it like they did, running right towards your net full sprint. You're not going to catch them, and that's what really led to that chance there for Joy AC as they convert.
That was Ashley Bennett, who had our first attacking chance of the day on the counter that Jillian Brown was able to dump in on the rebound. Bennett, this time, gets the job done.
And what was that, Mike? What, 10 seconds after she checked in again?
You did say she was one of the speedsters. That has to be a good feeling, though. I don't know if you've ever had that, Pete, in power soccer, but when you sub in and then seconds later you get your team the go-ahead goal.
Yeah, I mean, the main job of, I mean, obviously she started, so it's not like she's a sub, but coming back into the game, the main job, right, is to make an impact. Be a spark for the team. Do something that, you know, ignites the team, and there's nothing better than intercepting a pass and going down and getting a goal like that, you know, right hot off the bench. So great job by her, and we'll see how the Legacy respond. Because again, when you give up an errant pass like that, Mike, it makes you think as a defender, oh, should I take that pass again? Should I take a look like that again? And it maybe, you know, deters you away from going, you know, to moves that you would normally do after it doesn't work one time, especially leading to a goal. So I think it's important for the Legacy defenders to keep playing their game, and things like that are going to happen, but it shouldn't make you move away from the strategy that you've practiced.
Under 3 minutes to go in the first. Ashley Bennett, who scored. She plays her college soccer at Concordia St. Paul, graduate of Lakeville North. Last year, reached the All-NSIC second team. Four goals and 4 assists in 2024. Came up with a big one for Joy AC. And all the teams, they're playing for the conference title and hoping to get a spot in the WPSL playoffs. They do have a playoff tournament. A few years ago, Salvo SC out of this conference and this division, able to qualify to the championship round. But a lot of back and forth action. The St. Croix strategy has been relying on ball possession. Joy AC jumping on those opportunistic moments, those counters, and as we saw a few minutes ago, a takeaway that led to the scoring play from Bennett. A pair of divergent strategies unfolding in the season opener.
I will say Joy AC's backline defenders are giving some space, to the likes of Sutherland on the side, but they're doing a great job so that even if they're giving up space there on their side, they're not giving her good angles to cross that ball in. They're either taking the cross themselves or blocking it. So the Legacy have not had, even if the ball's been down, maybe in that quarter zone where they can cross it, they haven't gotten any good looks here recently as we're under a minute now.
Again, normally we have the clock counting up, but given the flow of this first half, Pete, I don't think we would have much in the way of stoppage time as it is.
No, pretty clean game so far. I mean, a lot of back and forth and not very many stops at all. So I personally like seeing that. It's a lot more fun to watch and commentate.
Yeah, no injury timeouts, no major dust-ups. Just a couple of teams with a lot of high-caliber players getting their kicks in, no pun intended. Joy AC looking for one more before time expires. They have stopped the clock. Again, the clock normally counts up, so the official keeping track here. I think we're in the stoppage time portion of the first half, but
The clock was delayed starting as well.
I say this all the time. The first game of the season is always the trickiest because everyone is remembering, oh, wait, how do I do this again?
Right.
But that is the end of the first half, maybe a minute of stoppage time. A pretty clean half, Pete. Lots of action on offense and defense, and Joy AC with a 2-1 lead over Legacy.
Yeah, you know, it'll be interesting to see what Legacy does after halftime. Well, both teams in general, but, I mean, if you're the Legacy, you had a lot of opportunities. You had a lot of ball possession and a couple nice looks off of corners. But besides that one goal by Treadle, I mean, you think that they'd be desiring to get a few more because they had those opportunities. They just haven't cashed in yet, and they're going to need to find a way to break down that back line defense. And, you know, they were going to the corners and then cutting the ball early, you know, back to the middle, and I think that was working, and they kind of went away from that here towards the end of the first half. So I'd like to see them maybe do that and coming out of this next half to create some more space for themselves, but we'll see.
We'll come back with first half stats and analysis. You're watching WPSL Soccer on Valley Access Channels. Joy AC with a 2-1 lead over St. Croix Legacy.
Love is a lesson that doesn't end. It knows no conditions, so you better buckle in. Love keeps you on your toes. It never stops, only grows. Love isn't easy, it's a commitment, especially when they're being their most resistant. Love is finding the right seat so you can take a breath. But remember, love isn't lax, it always double checks. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
When I arrived in the U.S. at 19, I struggled to find job opportunities without a high school diploma. Everything I have, my education, my career, my marriage, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and my teachers.
Your achievement has set an example for so many students. Most importantly, your daughter.
Education was the key that unlocked all my opportunities.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free adult education centers near you.
We said we'd never break the 3-second rule. We'd never make a separate dinner. And never do that. We'd never let them sleep in our room. And never become a minivan mom.
Hey, Chris. Okay, well, I'm not at my desk right now.
As parents, we say never a lot, but never happens. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
That small thing to keep us focused. A habit we never skip. To clear our minds and elevate our performance. What do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Maybe you surround yourself with positivity. Or you need to center yourself. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body. It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Gracie and Pedro might not get along so well.
You're standing on my tail.
But there's one thing they agree on. There's a right seat for everyone.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
Whether you're a dog,
Hold on, Pooch.
a cat, a fish, or a rat.
And I'm a ferret.
Be sure to travel safe.
How can you be so sure?
I'm absolutely positive.
On your next adventure, make sure your children are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
One scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
When the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will arrive.
Support from local community sponsorships make a lot of our programming possible, including our popular coverage of Stillwater Pony Sports, academic and arts school programming, as well as local community events. Support local community organizations and their events by sponsoring our coverage or by donating at our website, vactv.org.
We said we'd never break the 3-second rule. We'd never make a separate dinner. And never do that. We'd never let them sleep in our room. And never become a minivan mom.
Hey, Chris.
Okay, well, I'm not at my desk right now. As parents, we say never a lot, but never happens. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Preserve those local events that last a lifetime. Visit the VAC TV store on your computer or mobile device to purchase school programs and community events. DVD, Blu-ray, and digital downloads are available. Make it easy and search for your program that you wish to purchase. Buying is convenient with multiple options at your disposal while checking out. Visit vactv.org/store today.
Everyone has a ritual. That small thing to keep us focused. A habit we never skip. To clear our minds and elevate our performance. But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Maybe you surround yourself with positivity. Or you need to center yourself. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body. It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Community Ed serves a great purpose in our community and helps keep families connected.
Community education has something for everyone.
I really love watching the kids improve.
You can do it!
Nice job!
Come and see us at Community Ed for a good time for kids and families.
We said we'd never break the 3-second rule. We'd never make a separate dinner. and never do that. We'd never let them sleep in our room. And never become a minivan mom.
Hey, Chris. Okay, well, I'm not at my desk right now.
As parents, we say never a lot, but never happens. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Love is a lesson that doesn't end. It knows no conditions, so you better buckle in. Love keeps you on your toes. It never stops, only grows. Love isn't easy, it's a commitment, especially when they're being their most resistant. Love is finding the right seat so you can take a breath. But remember, love isn't lax, it always double checks. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
When I arrived in the U.S. at 19, I struggled to find job opportunities without a high school diploma. Everything I have, my education, my career, my marriage, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and my teachers.
Your achievement has set an example for so many students. Most importantly, your daughter.
Education was the key that unlocked all my opportunities.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free.
Love is a lesson that doesn't end. It knows no conditions, so you better buckle in. Love keeps you on your toes. It never stops, only grows. Love isn't easy, it's a commitment, especially when they're being their most resistant. Love is finding the right seat so you can take a breath. But remember, love isn't lax, it always double checks. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
When I arrived in the U.S. at 19, I struggled to find job opportunities without a high school diploma. Everything I have,
It's a live view of the Stillwater Lift Bridge. An iconic piece of architecture here in Stillwater. I'm guessing you've been on that bridge more than once.
Looks like a painting, really, if you look at it. So gorgeous downtown, and always a fun place to hang out, even on a chilly night like tonight. And speaking of chilly nights, Mike, I could see a lot of the Joy players just jumping up and down to stay warm right before they ran out there. As we're about ready to go here, as Joy AC leads 2-1 here.
Education, my career, my marriage, I owe to
the... that sounds like a good idea, Pete. What do you say? Let's find a way. Let's get a trampoline and we'll just bounce around to stay warm.
We get a lot of the wind down here on the track, and so we're trying to stay warm, like I said, in this nice summer evening. Like I said, summer evening here in Minnesota.
Mid-May, and it feels more like mid-March. He's Pete Winslow. I'm Mike Peden. As Pete noted, 2-1 is our score. Joy AC scoring on a pair of counters, once in the 10th minute and once in the 35th minute. Jillian Brown and Ashley Bennett. And in between, in the 30th minute, Tatum Treadle out of Shoreview, the St. Thomas Tommy getting the one goal for St. Croix Legacy. Pete, I'm really curious how this second half will bear out. Legacy, the stronger team with ball possession, but Joy AC, there's a challenge from Legacy. Joy AC, they've been able to score on a couple of counter plays, once off an interception or a takeaway. What adjustments should we look for here in the second half?
Yeah, like I said, I think the Joy AC defense has done a good job of, even if you give them field possession, they're not giving them dangerous angles. And I think that's a huge deal because, you know, no matter what you do, they can't really hurt you in that sense. And so we'll see if the Legacy Not much on that shot. We'll see if the Legacy can break down the defense a little bit better here. Maybe pull the ball. Don't go so far deep into the corner before you pull the ball out to the middle, unless you're going to win a corner kick. And then as far as Joy AC, I mean, I think they've been doing a great job on that counter. And we talked about how the Legacy have been really aggressive, right? And that works for only so long, right, Mike? Because there's a lot of energy involved in always jumping the play, always being on, every single physical possession. So we'll see how long that is sustainable here for the Legacy, especially, again, first game of the season. Even though everybody's in shape, you just never know as that one goes right into the back of number 21. That's Treadle, the goal scorer for the Legacy.
Treadle timing that free kick. Using her body to deflect it. As long as it's not your hands. We don't see too many players able to time it like that because you do typically get space to operate on a free kick, but Joy AC still pushing the ball downfield. And again, the clock is counting down, but we still have stoppage time.
Quick throw in there for Joy AC, and they kind of caught the Legacy flat-footed there, and that, just right there is a tone setter, Mike, for the second half.
That will give Quam a corner kick chance. Looked like it was headed for the near post. Instead, it scoots away. St. Croix Legacy will get a throw in. Again, this is the season opener, regular season play. No extra time to worry about. That won't come until the postseason. Legacy working the right side, centering pass sent away. Joy AC will concede a throw in, but jumping on that one was Gutierrez.
Great job there by the Legacy, and that's what I was talking about, Mike. Pull it back a little bit sooner. It was a great pullback move. Not a great pass into the middle, but that's the kind of stuff that will generate some space, I would imagine, for the Legacy.
Goal kick for Potter. We're in the midfield zone again. And a box out move by Sydney Sutherland, the Bemidji State Beaver out of Blaine, Minnesota.
They've been really working that right sideline here, Mike. Must have seen something tactically to maybe keep attacking that side.
Prates resetting. Got to be careful if you're Legacy. That was Santa Latta, who was zooming downfield. Nearly made that interesting. But Joy AC will get the throw in. Legacy sends the ball over to the track here at St. Croix Prep.
Oh, that's a good ball.
Through ball, can't quite get to Latta. Legacy on there, but it's a good move on the part of Joy AC.
Yeah, Mike, I always like having your runner, take a defender wide, but then you curl it down the middle and hope that your runner has enough speed and pace to work back towards the middle, and that nearly worked there. I believe that was number 9, Gutierrez, with that service up the middle, and good job by Legacy on the other side, because the way you close that down is just having a second defender come in and basically stopping the momentum of the, advancing wing, and they did a good job of closing down on that.
Legacy advancing along the right side, at least momentarily. That's Fred Cove. Right to Potter, who catches it for the save.
That's a great move by Fred Cove to get the corner, or to get the edge. And again, I think it's a tough angle because, I think she was trying to cross it, but it was just too close to Potter. And I think, changing up that angle of when they're going to try to pull it back might help them a little bit, especially getting it away from Potter, who's been good tonight.
Through ball finds its way to Joy AC. Prate's able to knock it away.
That was Brown, the first goal scorer for Joy AC, number 4 up the middle. And again, Mike, what worked out for her favor is that the Legacy defender just missed the clear attempt, and it bounced right into her path, and she's already got 1 to her name tonight and was going for 2.
Quam playing this low, and Creighton knocks it wide right. Joy AC nearly making it 3-1. And again, Pete, the counters, that has been their strength throughout this one.
Good move there. And Mike, you're just testing the back lines to make a mistake like that, right? All it takes is one little, miss like that leads to something could have been catastrophic for the Legacy.
Here comes Legacy working the edge again. Ball batted away. Looks like we'll have a corner for Legacy.
And that right side isn't working, Mike. Like I said, it seems like that's got to be a tactical thing, right? They've been attacking that side, and they've got, quite a bit of opportunity generated from that far side from us.
So CJ Fred Cove, the Stillwater Pony, and St. Thomas Tommy boots it in, sent away by Kate Gordon.
Good breakout here from Joy AC. Good ball there by Gutierrez.
Hooks up with number 12, Quam. With a cross, gets away, but they do get an attempt from Bennett. They were looking for Gutierrez initially, and Bennett able to get another shot at Prates. Joy AC didn't get a goal there, Pete, but they put up another fine example of their counter prowess.
And that cross, going across the middle, there was a player, not the shooter, but the player before her, created a really nice dummy move to let that ball just pass her by.
That was Gutierrez, so that was a decoy.
Yeah,
that was by design, not a
right,
not a mispass.
That's a great setup there for them.
Another takeaway for Joy AC. Racing after it is Sienna Lata. Nearly got the centering pass in there. Bennett in the mix. Ball goes back out into the midfield line. And now Olivia Hallinan, one of the backline players, tries the through ball. Quam can't get there. And a little bit of a box out, almost a wall move more on the part of Brianna Henneman.
And I will say, Mike, not a ton of physicality between both teams, in that first half. I got to wonder, especially the team that trails, right? That's always the team that thinks, well, if we can be physical, maybe it will lead to something, can wear them down, what have you. So we'll see if the physicality picks up here. Again, it's still anybody's game. There's a lot of soccer left here. And in a game where both teams kind of want to utilize speed and good passing, I wouldn't be surprised if they want to try to muck the game up a little bit with some physicality and slow the pace down.
Well, that was Henneman mucking up another counter possibility for Joy AC.
And Prates has had to be alert on those kind of breakout passes that are coming her way. She's done a great job coming up when she needs to.
2-1 the score. We've had a few fouls, nothing too serious, and I don't think we've had a single offside call. Here comes a cross, and it bounces into the abyss, no woman's land, a goal kick for Legacy.
I think they had Lada on that backside, obviously out of her reach, but she was creeping. She was there. That was the right setup.
Joy AC playing a little more strongly in this second half, looking to get a season opening victory. By the way, the next home game for Legacy will be May 28th, a week from Wednesday. Salvo SC will make the trip. Salvo, one of the stronger teams in the conference in recent years, so that should be a whole lot of fun, and we'll have live coverage of all Legends and Legacy games on Valley Access Channel. 7 o'clock, May 28th, the next Legacy home game.
And, Mike, you said Joy AC was playing a lot stronger. I think it's a lot of contributions from, I'll get to that point here in a minute.
Now Legacy working the left side.
Oh, nobody on the back door there for the Legacy. But I was going to just say they're getting a lot of contributions from their top three here. Well, I should say top four. Gutierrez has been in it. Jillian Brown, the goal scorer. Ashley Bennett and Quam. They've all kind of been setting up a lot of dangerous opportunities here.
And here's Lada along the right side, but that front line for Joy AC really coming together after a first half where they took a 2-1 lead, but it did feel at times they were trying to keep up with a feisty Legacy club.
But this definitely has felt like more of a Joy AC attacking unit this half.
And Quam will set up for her fourth corner kick along the right side. Plays it short near post and nets it, but not the side of the net she was looking for.
And I could see the reaction after it left her foot. She knew she got that one all wrong once that went back.
I'm guessing it's no different for you with Team USA Power Soccer when you get those free kicks and you know right away whether that's a good look or whether it's one you want back.
Yeah, absolutely. And, all you can do is think about it for a second and then forget about it. Good old Ted Lasso has taught us anything, just to be a goldfish, right,
goldfish.
Mike? Oh, that's
now,
a great ball
Legacy
through.
with a counter possibility. Treadle uses herself as a decoy, and we're even again. Treadle with a great dribble pass, and I'm looking to see the number of who scored.
Well, Mike, that was a great play there to lead Treadle on this near side of us here. Again, she's demonstrated her speed on the left side more times than once in this game, and she waited out Potter, and then finally put the ball through and got it to the goal scorer.
Treadle will be subbed out for now after picking up that assist in the 61st minute. And this is the tough part when you have numbers in the back of the jerseys and not the front. A little different in high school ball, but I believe it was Amara Smith who scored the equalizer.
Another ball up the right sideline. They're attacking that side.
And they nearly make it 3-2. But Pete, we saw Legacy pouncing on a counter the way Joy AC has done throughout this game.
Yeah, and I think, the Legacy have dialed back a little bit of the aggressive, attack every time the ball carrier gets the ball. So they've sat back just a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. And they've been a little bit more opportunistic here as they get themselves a corner kick.
So Fred Cove from the left side, boots it deep. Header. And Potter dives on it, but another solid set piece, Pete. That's where St. Croix Legacy has had an advantage. And Smith nearly made this a 3-2 score. St. Croix Legacy, I feel that counter has re-energized them.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that one, it was a nice setup on the corner kick. Every time you get one, player goes down there, no foul.
That was Amara Smith.
Yeah, every time you get a ball coming your way from a corner kick and you're on that far post, if you don't have a shot, put it back across the net, and she did to set up an even better look. Unfortunately for the Legacy, not much off of that second header. But again, that's a good setup for the Legacy, who feels like they are riding some momentum here, Mike.
This has been a fantastic season opener. Legacy mixing it up, using possession time in the first half, and now in the second, they even things up again on a counterplay. Joy AC, an opportunistic side, getting a pair of goals from Brown and Bennett. And here's Smith again. You mentioned the physicality, Pete. Smith laying it down there. She's got an open net. Flake stays down. And the Legacy, with a legendary score, take a 3-2 lead. Amara Smith, the MSU Maverick, turning the page in the Legacy's favor.
Great counter there. I was looking down at the roster sheet here, Mike, and all of a sudden, there was Amara Smith with the ball right in front by herself for the most part, and she did not miss. And boy, all of a sudden, the tables have turned here for Joy AC. Where again, Mike, not 4 or 5 minutes ago, we were talking about how that offensive unit for Joy AC looked like they were really coming together. They've been a little quiet here in the last couple minutes.
They'll try to change that here, and that goal from Smith, I believe, was set up by Sutherland. You saw a Legacy player racing in there to get the deflection. They take each other out, the Legacy and Joy AC player, and that left Smith all alone with Potter. And Pete, I don't know if you've been in that situation in power soccer, but if you're on the defensive side, that's never a fun feeling when you've got an uncontested player coming at you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you versus the world, it feels like right there. You're looking at them, and they've got all the space. You don't want to come out too much to pressure because you don't want to give up anything too crazy, but at the same time, you don't want to recede back into your net either because that's just giving them the best angles to take shots. So, again, nothing really Potter could do on that one.
Legacy on the move again. Smith dribbling it along the right side. Can't get through her Joy AC defender, but Smith, you talked about the speed Legacy has on the wing speed, and Smith out of Lake Elmo displaying tons of it here in the second half.
Yeah, she's really been just a shot in the arm for the Legacy. And I was just about to comment, Mike, one of the moves that are working really well is for the Legacy right now is that turn. So the ball's coming to a player, and then they post up, like they box out like a basketball player. They let it go through, and then they turn and burn. And that's really, really been working right now for the Legacy, and that's what's led to a lot of the high pressure, high percentage looks that they've had so far. And so we'll see if that continues to work out. Like I said, it feels like, before the first goal that they scored here in the second half, the speed wasn't quite getting utilized the way they probably wanted it to, and now all of a sudden it feels like every single opportunity the Legacy are outrunning the back line here for Joy AC.
We'll have a corner for Joy AC, their fifth, and Legacy with 5 corners. But Amara Smith, who has a pair of goals to her name, played for the Metro United homeschool team out of Lake Elmo, but didn't attend a traditional high school. But let's see how this set piece plays out for Joy AC. Oh, nice shot and a big catch by Prates. That was Sophia King, who nearly crowned an equalizer for Joy AC. We're just seeing some really great soccer being played, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, any of that talk about the teams being nervous or not as sharp are completely out the door here. We were absolutely wrong, because both teams look really good. As that one gets taken away, good defense though to get back on that one.
Emily Hinsey.
That was Quam with the potential shot there. But no, that look there for King, going back to it, I mean, that's a tough shot. She has to turn her hips really fast to just put that on net. Even though she put it right at Prates, I mean, that's a hard shot to connect, and she put some power behind it. And so that's just a high skill move with not a lot of time for her to decide, how she wanted to line up and hit that as well. So
you're talking about nervousness and jitters. I don't think Amara Smith for Legacy would have to worry about that. Her MSU Mankato team reached the NCAA Division II championship last year. And Smith played in all the games, had 3 goals and an assist.
Yeah, so to no one's surprise, she's absolutely made a huge impact here for the Legacy tonight. Mike, that's one of the things I love about these teams and how they're built, right? Like, it's a lot of players from different areas and different schools and different backgrounds, and they all come together with different experiences and different mindsets, and they get on the same page as a unit, to go after the same goal, and they all learn from each other. They sharpen each other's skills, and like I said, it's just fun to watch and fun to see things come together like tonight.
And if you're curious, that MSU Mankato team that made it all the way to the championship round only lost 2 games in 2024, including the championship. They went 18-2-7.
That's pretty good.
Legacy looking for another deep through ball. Albert was trying to lead the attack. Under 20 minutes to go, including stoppage time, of course. And I suppose it doesn't really matter whether you have a clock that counts down or up when you have stoppage time applied, because when I did Salvo games, or when we've done Legacy games, they stop the clock at 45 minutes anyway. So as I'm thinking in my head, I guess it doesn't really matter which way you run the clock. Legacy up 3-2 on a cool mid-morning evening, mid-May evening, mid-morning. I guess I need some more water.
Well, Mike, it's not your fault. The weather that we're feeling right now, it feels like we're in an alternate reality. So it's not surprising that.
It feels like we've ended up in the minus world. 18:40 left. Well, nothing bizarre about this turnaround that we've seen from St. Croix Legacy. I'm never going to live this one down. Mid-morning, evening. That's going to go in the Hall of Fame at Valley Access Channels in the sports department. Legacy trying to mount another attack. They get another look.
Ooh, just off the fingertips of Potter there. She's been tested a lot here recently, having to dive left and right. And now all of a sudden, another corner kick incoming for the Legacy.
That was Emily Olsen who put that ball in a great spot. Now Fred Cove will get her 6th corner kick try. Bounces over, and the leaping catch by Potter. Off the right-footed tap by Savannah Stockness. Pete, sometimes you hear this in basketball, it's a game of runs. You don't quite have that in soccer, but it felt like to start the second half, Joy AC was the aggressor, and now St. Croix Legacy really channeling that infusion of energy they got after the equalizer. They just look like the stronger team right now. Of course, there's still 17 minutes left, so nobody's won this yet, but it is quite remarkable to see how much momentum can change when you can put a goal on the board.
And that's the thing, too. I mean, we were talking about that big front unit for Joy AC, and it feels like we haven't called, the likes of Ashley Bennett's name and Quam for a while now, and it, they're all really good when they've got the ball, but what are you going to do when you're not, in your offensive shape? And again, I know everybody's job is different, but still, I mean, here's a pretty good look coming up now. Good defense there, swiped out by the Legacy. But like I said, I mean, we just haven't seen very much open up, and again, that's, a good testament to the Legacy defense as well.
Subbing in for Legacy, Kenzie Jacobson, who plays at St. Thomas, originally played at Madison, Wisconsin for college soccer. Of course, with the transfer rules as they are now, you do see a lot more turnover at the college level, D1, D2, D3. All right, Pete, if you're Joy AC, what do you do here? You've got about 15 minutes, still plenty of time, but...
Yeah, I think you got to...
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I think you got to start taking more chances. I mean, those long balls, they had been connecting on, previous parts of the game. They haven't been really going for that as much. They haven't quite had as much movement down the sidelines as well. As the pressure's on right now. But they haven't quite gotten those through balls, and they haven't made the back line for the Legacy have to run as much, I don't feel like. And so that's really helped, the defense for the Legacy not having to chase as much, because like we said, we know how much pace those attacking players have for Joy AC, and if, but that's all nullified if they don't get the ball or if they don't get those looks that they want to set up.
Goal kick for Potter. And if you're Legacy, how do you maintain this advantage? You've got the 1-goal lead, but we know that doesn't give you much room for error.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's still 14 and a half minutes left in this game, plus a little bit. So, I mean, you can't just go into parking the bus. You got to play this out. You still got to be aggressive here, as that one's going to go out. You still got to play aggressive. You still got to look for those opportunities when they come. Maybe don't force as many things, but you still got to try to go down and score and control this game, because, one slip, again, we've seen, right? One slip up on the back line, and that leads to something And so, like I said, you still got to finish this game out, no minutes off.
That's how Joy AC scored their 2 goals in the first half. Off of counters, off of misplays.
Good ball up the right sideline there.
That is Sutherland. Just trying to hook up with Albert. And now the ball rolls out. Joy AC gets there before it crosses the touchline. Here comes Fred Cove. AC containing that at set. By the way, our next home game for Legacy is May 28th as we get a look at the schedule and try to sneak it in the middle of action. But it will be Salvo SC. That should be a good one. And you see all the dates on the docket. We'll cover all the home games, and then June 4th and June 22nd will be the remaining home dates for Legacy. So it's a short season, just 8 games. As we return to action, Quam trying to pass it upfield to Dare Creighton. It's not a long season, Pete, compared to their high school or college teams. But again, this league, much like USLW, where Aurora plays, and all the others, gives these athletes a chance to stay limber, stay fresh when they suit up for their college teams later in late summer and fall.
Well, and like you said, I mean, so many of these athletes play on the same college team, so obviously this is going to help them going back to those teams. But at the same time, like you said, short season, but they're playing good soccer. I mean, these are good. This is good talent in this whole league, so it's not like they're just playing some rec soccer to keep themselves in shape. They are testing, the other teams, and like I said, I mean, there's a lot of talent out here, and so you can't get complacent in these types of games.
And I think it's pretty easy to say at this point. We'll see what happens in the final 11 minutes and change, but Legacy didn't get too discouraged after giving up a couple of goals that left them trailing for a time.
I was going to say they haven't led for most of the game, and now playing in front, like I said, that can change your mindset, and that can change tactics. And so, like I said, it'll be interesting to see how they want to try to close out games because, you'd be surprised how many teams don't know how to close games out, Mike. And that's a real skill that, only some of the best teams know how to do. So we'll see how they do in this one. And like I said, they're, lockdown defense they've been playing so far in the last 15, minutes has definitely helped.
Well, when you look at the makeup of the Legacy roster and the high schools and colleges they are a part of, Amara Smith with MSU Mankato, a team that reached the championship round in Division II. Some of the Stillwater alumni who played on those terrific Ponies girls soccer teams that made state a bunch. As we get a through ball into Fred Cove, but she can't quite catch up to it in time for a clean look. Now on the right side, that's a doink off the uprights, but not a bad recovery after Fred Cove didn't get the initial look trying to track down that through ball. And Legacy looks like they're not going to park the bus. They want to end this with flair, with authority.
And I will say that was a great through ball there to Fred Cove on the left side. But at the same time, that Joy AC defender did a great job as well, tracking back to make sure that she couldn't cross it where she wanted to, or even take the shot, really. So again, equal parts good offense, equal parts good defense.
On the other end, Joy AC, this might be the time where they have to dial things up and show a little more gusto. Not that they've been laying back, but I feel they've struggled a little bit more with the sets. The counters, they have been brilliant, thriving there, but trying to get those looks on sets, extended possessions. That hasn't been their forte. They'll have to see if they can channel a look or two in these final 10 minutes.
Yeah, Mike, I think at this point you just got to try to force feed your playmakers, right? Or you could just do that. What a strike there. Oh, my goodness. Joy AC not going quietly as they tie this one up with 8:37 left here in this game. Like I said, get the ball to your playmakers, right?
That was Sophia King in the 82nd minute.
Let's not forget, earlier in the game, Sophia King had a really nice shot that was kind of right on the doorstep of the goal that ended up going right to Prates. Gets another crack at it and absolutely buries that one. What a beautiful shot there. Nothing Prates could do about that one here, as we're all knotted up at 3. Kind of a whole new game at this point. Right, Mike?
It's on like Donkey Kong, as the saying goes. But again, this is a regular season game, so no extra time. If this does end in a 3-3 draw or even in any score, it will be counted as such in the standings. Joy AC, this is their bread and butter. Those transition odd woman looks. Now Quam regathers, sends it to the net, but sends it wide left. Sophia King out of Homestead High School in Mequon, Wisconsin, has played the last couple of years at Concordia St. Paul after starting at Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Scored a pair of goals for the Golden Bears last year. Don't you love it, Pete, when you have this eloquent, elaborate setup on strategy and then the players decide to take everything you say and throw it out the window, as King did a moment ago?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've seen it before. Things can change, in the blink of an eye. And, you knew as the legacy team that this one was far from over. And it still is far from over. But again, that's why you have to put in complete performances. That's why you have to be adaptable as well. And just, again, get the ball to your playmakers, which Joycey had not been doing for, a large chunk of this second half. And then all of a sudden, bam, that's all it took, right?
And as Pete said, this one not done. You don't have to be an expert to know that late goals have come at every level. That will be a foul on the push by Elena Sikas.
Geez, Mike, that seems like the first foul in ages, too.
I think that is the first foul of this half, at least in a long time. There was a couple. Now I do remember, right, because there's a free kick that was deflected by a legacy player, but yeah, we haven't seen too many fouls. I don't think we've seen a single offside call. This really has been a clean, almost pristine style of play. Not a whole lot of sloppiness between these two.
No, and that, again, that's what makes it fun to watch, fun to call, fun to be a part of.
Did they do the red card thing for this game?
Throw in for Legacy, under 5 minutes in regulation. King scoring in the 82nd minute to even this up. Here's a shot from deep. Potter fields it off the hop. And that goal from King, if the result stands, Pete, you just never know what that might do because, again, they are playing in conference and division, so there are points to be had for each game. And while 1 point is not as admirable as 3, that's not what you aim for when you're staring at a 3-2 deficit. If you can get an equalizer that salvages a point, you just never know how big that could be. As Legacy trying to jump on it again. They nearly get the through ball, but it was just beyond the reach.
And she went for it too, and it was just, I mean, maybe a half a shoe's length away from her, I feel like.
That was Bella Meyer. Like you said, Pete, maybe a shoe size away from putting a good ball on net.
You know, Mike, with those kind of plays too, I mean, all you got to do, or all it takes is just a small deflection of any sort, and that might go on net. Who knows what happens? But that was a really, really nice ball served in there.
And we're talking about the prize. Remember, there's still time left, so Joy AC wouldn't mind turning a tie into a win, and St. Croix Legacy is saying, hey, we can still get 3 big ones here if we can put another one on the board.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't necessarily need to settle for a tie, right? You'd be happy with one, but at this point,
if you're Joy AC, I'm sure you'd take it considering where you had been in the second half, but we still may see another goal before we're through. And this is just game 1. Who knows what will be in store for upcoming games.
Yeah, I would absolutely look forward to watching a rematch with these two teams down the line.
I saw a couple of challenges there. I think each team plays their conference rivals once.
Well, you know, Mike, both teams, too, probably feel like, you know, they're not going to feel great with a tie because they both feel like they were at times in control.
Well, they both have had leads.
Wow.
And Legacy retakes it on the lob, the blooper. And blooping it in for the score, looking for the number. It came in the 89th minute.
Again, Mike, they attacked that right side, right?
I think that was Treadle.
That's what they've been doing the whole game, or at least in the whole second half here, attacking that right side, and that led to a beautiful, beautiful finish there for the Legacy to take the lead with just a minute and some change left here in this one.
And as Pete noted, this wasn't some trick play or some gadgetry. St. Croix Legacy had been sizing up that right side for a long time, feeling like they had a speed advantage along that right edge. It finally comes to fruition. And we were talking about those 3 big ones, so St. Croix Legacy may have preserved their chance, but Joy AC still has an opportunity to tie it up again. What a close to this game.
And at this point, if you're Legacy, you just clear the ball out as far away from your box as possible. If you're Joy AC, you got to move here. You got to put anything on net. Oh, that was a good look there. We'll see if she, oh, she cannot reach that. Going down the back line, and that should just about do it here.
We are in stoppage time now. And the referees all keeping track of their watches. They don't have the stoppage time board at this level, but Joy AC, they've got to get that ball downfield and put themselves in a spot to.
Oh, that would imagine just about do it there.
That was a great clearance by Legacy. Legacy getting on top of that one. That was Brooke Nelson. out of Stillwater. Bennett, Lexi Bennett trying to chase it down. Nearly got the centering pass in. Prates kicks it back out. Brooke Nast has it. Now Lexi Bennett. Joy AC, they've got to come up with a chance now. Lexi Bennett with the dribbler. Prates falls on it. That just might do it.
Joy AC not going quietly though, Mike. That was a lot of good looks that they potentially were trying to set up there.
Prates with the goal kick. Waiting for the official's whistle to signal the end of the game. And this is a great situation for Legacy. They nearly had one for good measure, but you'll take it. Tatum Treadle can't make it a hat trick, but it's a good way to close out the second half as Legacy scores 3 in the frame to overtake Joy AC and start the 2025 season with a win. Unofficially, a pair of goals from Amara Smith and a pair of goals from Tatum Treadle. And how about that response from Legacy? They gave up the lead, took the lead, lost it, and then gained it back in the 89th minute of play.
Yeah, you know, Mike, as a coach, I think you hit every emotion, every mindset in that game, trailing, winning, closing out, fighting still because you want to go ahead. I mean, this game had everything, and I hope everybody else enjoyed this as much as we did calling it because, like I said, it had a little bit of everything, and that's just the first game of the season.
Pete and I will be back to recap